Go to Panera and get the bread bowl.
Oh yeah, the bread bowl is the only thing I eat there. That bread bowl is fucking amazing. Welcome to the Struggle is Real Buffalo Music Podcast. It is 2021, and today we are super excited to be interviewing Buffalo legends 10,000 Maniacs, who were one of the first bands I remember seeing on MTV when I was a kid. Lewis, speaking of the 90s, I once managed to get dates using social media sites MySpace, Friendster, and Makeout Club.
And I'm Lewis. Ryan, what the fuck is a Friendster?
I think you were 4 when it was created.
So I'm older than Friendster?
Barely. Well, Friendster died at 7, so yes.
I outlived Friendster.
Yes. We've all outlived Friendster, everybody. On today's episode, we will have the aforementioned Maniacs, as we'll be interviewing Steve Gustafson, Jeff Erickson, and Mary Ramsey from the band. We're also going to play a game I created called Over 10,000 or Under 10,000. It's so ridiculous.
Over 10,000 or under 10,000?
Yeah.
Like leagues under the sea?
You'll have to see.
I will see.
That would be push. That'd be over, under, and push.
Probably.
And we're gonna be playing music. And we'll be playing music from Stress Dolls, Grub, and Fungus Amongus.
Fungus Amongus?
I kind of like that Grub and Fungus Amongus are on the same show. That seems like they would fit together. I should have found maybe some sort of fish or aquatic sea creature instead of Stress Dolls, but
yeah,
we aim for diversity. But first, I want to talk about Spotify.
Okay.
I see a lot of belly aching about Spotify and social media. And first off, like, they pay less than all the other services.
For sure.
Which I think there are reasons for, but, you know, I think they could at least get up to the next closest one. And though I don't know how far that is, as I was just about to say, let's have a research discussion. I didn't do that part of the research.
Shit. I think the next closest one is Pandora, because I know Apple pays pretty well.
But the thing is like, you know, it does suck, but like people complain about, like, I see those like memes like every month for like the last like 3 years. I feel like this is how you're getting ripped off. So I wanted to check it out and see if bands were actually getting ripped off more now with Spotify than they were with record deals in the 90s. So first off, musicians have always been getting ripped off. Let's not pretend that isn't a thing. They've been getting ripped off since record labels existed. They've been getting probably ripped off before then. I don't know how you'd rip them off before then, but I'm sure someone did it. So let's look at it this way. In the 90s, bands got approximately $1.20 for every album they sell. When you consider an album selling for $14.99, doesn't cost a whole lot to make that CD case. There's a lot of money going into other hands there. So that's, you know, and that cuts up. That's publishing, record labels, promotion, managers, etc. So if there's 10 songs on any album, that means for every album you would buy, you'd be paying the band would be getting 12 cents per song. So you pay your $15, 12 cents of that for each song goes to the band. Spotify pays 0.4 cents. Every time you play a song, so 0.4 of 1 penny. So if you kind of build that up a little bit, 3 plays will get you 1.2 cents, which is, I mean, honestly, from all the complaining I've heard, I actually thought that's actually better than I thought it would be. So that means every time, if you play a song 30 times, the artist gets 12 cents.
Yeah.
So that means that artist, if you play them 30 times, is getting the same amount of money that they would get for that song if they had purchased it in the 90s.
Yeah.
And when you think about how many times you listen to your favorite song, like, if you listen to your favorite song more than 30 times, you're actually giving the artist more money now than they were making in the 90s. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to talk about inflation, because we're in this like weird time warp where everything has gotten more expensive except local music tickets.
Yeah.
Like, I was thinking about that recently and trying to compare it to other things, and like movie tickets have gone from like $6 to $15, and just everything gets more and more expensive, even bigger concerts, but local ones always stay the same. So we're kind of stuck within that economy, I think. So, but like I said, if you play a song more than 30 times, you're giving them more money than if you would have sold them an album. So Now, let's talk about finding a way to make a stream more profitable for the people.
For the people.
So first, this is something I do want to say. I saw people arguing about Tidal. Do you know about Tidal?
Yeah, I know about Tidal.
Tidal is run. Is it Jay-Z?
I believe so.
So Jay-Z started a streaming service, and I actually saw people posting that it's not popular because it's owned by an African American. Stop! It's not popular because he charges you to put music on the website. It's like $50 an album.
Yeah.
And when I just said you play a song 30 times, you get 12 cents. It's going to take you a hell of a long time to get up to the point where you're even getting any money back in profit.
Yeah, for sure. And I think to make a full dollar. But the one thing is that you need I think 80 plays on Tidal to make a full dollar.
Still, that's a lot of plays to get to 50 that not everyone's going to get to, and that's what they're banking on. Now, Spotify costs $10, so let's assume 50% of that goes into employee costs, upkeep, advertising, all the regular stuff. It pays for Helen in accounting, and it pays for Lloyd in the mailroom, and all of their insurance and all the things they need. So that leaves $5 for the artists.
Yeah.
How much time do you spend in a day listening to music, Lou?
Well, with quarantine, 24/7, but my 9 to 5 work week, it's usually mostly in the car or when I need to relax or if I'm, doing some menial activity. So I'd have to say maybe an eighth of my day is spent listening to music.
So about 3 hours?
Yeah, just about.
So if you listen to Spotify for 76 hours a month, approximately, which is 2.5 hours a day, the rest of the $5 is going to the artist.
Yeah.
So what do we do to improve this then? Because I know the CEO is making a fucking ton of money. That's like that everywhere, and I guarantee you I'm not going to guarantee anything, but I'm pretty sure the CEO of Bandcamp is probably making something that's just as absurd as what the people over at Apple are making, and Tidal's run by Jay-Z. These are rich people who are taking our money away from us to do other things with it. So Lou, what do you think?
Honestly, as someone who uses all of these streaming services for my music through a distributor, I never really run into an issue with that because I'm usually using a third party to get my music out. My only issue is just people that take the direct route into getting their streams on services like this, especially with such a very competitive capitalistic market.
Yeah,
you're really going to have a hard time, and unfortunately, the only way to improve it is you can either do a couple things. You can either promote yourself and get really good and blow up out of nowhere, start using social media to your advantage, fucking uploading TikTok clips of 6-second parts of your song and make them into meme sensations, or fucking, start putting things on your Instagram about your songs and, start following a bunch of people and all that stuff. Or you can just play your songs over and over by yourselves, which is really shitty. And, you either have to put in the work or you're either going to have to put in the work or you're going to have to just get really lucky. And that's basically what it's going to be until major corporations decide to either bring up the minimum for the amount of streams that you do get. And that's unfortunately the reality that they're at. But really quick hacker trick, just use a third party. Save yourself the
absolutely.
$50 or $60 for getting your streaming services up there when you could pay $15.
I have DistroKid and it's amazing.
Exactly. You pay $15 a month, for the year. Yeah. May I say, and you can make maybe 2 to 3 times your money back just by having people listen to your music.
They even have a service where for $50 they'll have your stuff up on the websites permanently.
Exactly.
You don't even need to renew, which I thought was a great service to offer.
Absolutely. And as long as you just pay for the account, you can still collect royalties, and you never know if at some point down the line some dude some kid on TikTok is oh, I like the song, let's make a fucking meme, and then you just blow up out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, if you look at these numbers, you can even think about this way. The guys from Metallica have more money than they're ever going to want in their entire lifetimes.
From touring.
Yes.
And merch.
Exactly. That's you beat me to my point. But that's the thing. I bet out of their album sales, maybe $20-30 million in each of their pockets. How many hundreds of millions do they have from touring and merchandise now?
Probably a shit ton.
We're talking probably 100 million. I'd have to guess.
That's definitely in that ballpark, maybe even more.
Yeah,
they're really popular. You buy all these fucking tickets. People are coming in buying their shit.
So like, I'm sure Taylor Swift is making some money off of Spotify, but it's not even probably that much of a towering number given like how much is paid per play. Like they are getting their money from other sources.
Exactly.
Like radio airplay was another thing. And back in my day, in the 90s, like if you got played on the radio, you were so happy. Like, you know what I mean? Like even now it's kind of cool to have that happen in real time on something live, but like you didn't get paid for that. I mean, like ASCAP will give you like 1 penny for every 20 plays. And I really view Spotify as the same way. It's a promotional tool to help people listen to you. And you can't expect that promotional tool is going to pay for everything. Yeah. You have to do other stuff.
You also can't expect it to, do all of the work for you as well.
Oh, absolutely.
Because like I can guarantee you most of the musicians that are famous and popular making hundreds of thousands of dollars did not do it by themselves. They worked hard for that. They didn't just let the money walk for them. They literally went to like clubs and open mics and stuff like that and just made connections and stuff, which brings us to many points that we've talked about on this podcast. When things start opening up, start going to those open mics. You never know who you may meet. Start going to shows and supporting your local musicians because you never know what type of connections you're going to make. Because literally from, 1 second, you could just be entering a show to go, see some local band that you may not know of. And the next thing you know, their manager happens to also know this guy who can record really well, or happens to know this band that's looking for a musician, or, just happens to have connections. You start networking that way and you might blow yourself up.
Yeah, and practice. Like I hate to think that needs to be explained, but I think there's a lot of people who spend a ton of time on social media and then they practice once a week and they play through their set list once and then they kind of just go off and do their thing. Yeah. Like you got to know this stuff forwards and backwards. You have to put the time in.
Oh, for sure.
Like I remember for me when I was a kid finding out the bass player for Porno for Pyros, he allegedly doesn't have fingerprints because he plays bass so much. And but if you want to be a real million album selling musician, that's those are the kinds of people you're competing with.
Yeah, the people that literally practice every day and spend all of their time on it.
Yeah, so don't especially now, if you got a day to sit on the couch, have your guitar with you, have a notepad with you, write some lyrics, just do something.
Or just do what I do, just sit and have your guitar. Or have guitars in multiple rooms. You never know when inspiration comes.
Exactly. So I think the point is, the money isn't in the album sales. The money's never been in the album sales. And so that stands the same as it is with streams. So to get as upset as we're getting to blame it for as much of what's faltering in our industry just doesn't make any sense. And we should just keep focus on quality. That's what you should be focusing on. What's happening over at Spotify, how much the CEO makes is meaningless to you as a musician. I hate Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook, but I still use it because I have to for the things I do. Yeah. So sorry, you're just gonna have to do some like being in a band isn't just about doing what you want. Sometimes you have to do things you don't want to do.
Oh, for sure.
So and so we're gonna play a song. I have one question first. What's the difference between TikTok and Vine?
So Vine was an unfiltered 7-second video service, or you just throw 7-second videos, comedy sketches and shit.
And TikTok is?
And TikTok is basically Vine. If you search up Vine on the App Store, it's going to take you to TikTok.
Okay, because like you were mentioning TikTok, and I'm like, wait a second, wasn't that Vine?
Yeah, it was Vine, and then they rebranded and made it a lot more child friendly. You could get fucking removed and blocked from TikTok for having an F-bomb or fuck written out, or even shit written out.
You say this like a man with experience.
No, my wife makes TikToks.
All right. Okay, folks. Well, we took up way too much time there already because we have 10,000 Maniacs coming up next. But first, we are going to play a song. This is from a local, they're like an electronic jam band.
Jam.
They're a really interesting band called Grub. And this is a song called Airica. It's spelled A-I-R-Ica. So I think they're trying to combine the girl name and air.
Airica?
I just wanted to make it so our listeners would know how to spell it. I hate to be dude, listen to this song. It's so great. And then they're like, I don't know how to find it now. So
wait, is it with an E or an A? This is the type of questions they'll get.
It is. So check out Airica by Grub, and we'll be back with the mighty 10,000 Maniacs here on the Struggle is Real Buffalo Music Podcast on WesternNewYorkMusic.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? The fasten seatbelt sign is now off. However, we would recommend that you keep your seatbelt fastened, for you are in for one hell of a ride. Your cooperation is appreciated. Gentlemen, we would recommend that you keep your seatbelt fastened, for you are in one hell of a ride. Your cooperation is appreciated. Gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? The fasten seatbelt sign is now off. However, we would recommend that you keep your seatbelt fastened, for you are in for one hell of a ride. Your cooperation is appreciated.
And welcome back to the Struggle is Real Buffalo Music Podcast. That was Airica by Grub, a electronic jam band that I think we'll be seeing on a lot of the festival circuit. If there is a festival circuit.
Like that live, the dance around.
Yes.
It's missing.
Mm-hmm. And we are now joined by Cassidy.
Hi,
Welcome
I'm
in.
here.
Happy 2021.
I'm not fully disgruntled. It's a new year. I'm here.
Yes.
Glad to be here.
And we are now joined by 3 of 10,000 Maniacs. We are joined by bass player Steve Gustafson, vocalist / is it violist?
Yes.
Mary Ramsey, and guitar player Jeff Erickson.
This is wonderful.
Yes, I was telling the guys earlier, when I started watching MTV when I was like 10, one of the first videos I remember seeing is 10,000 Maniacs. So I'm absolutely thrilled to have you guys on. So I kind of just wanted to talk about kind of the early days a little bit. Steve, you're a founding member. Jeff, how long have you, now you took over for Robert Buck when he left in 2000. How long were you associated with the band before then?
At least 6 or 7 years. I did guitar tech for him for a couple years before Rob passed. But but Jamestown's a small town with a close-knit music community, and you met these people, and
Sure.
I hit it off with them quite off the bat, and we became friends a couple years before that.
Cool. And Mary, how long have you been playing with the group?
Well, since the last century, so it's been a very long time.
90,
1990.
yeah,
but,
probably 1990.
But then John Lombardo and from John and Mary, that's who we are. We started in 1988, so yes, we've all been together for many years.
That's awesome. So, Steve, like, I know a lot of musicians like myself, like you have that moment where you get played on the radio or you win an award or you get to open for like a national act. But what was it like the first time you saw your music charting on the Billboard Top 50? Like, how did that feel?
Well, the first time I heard one of our songs on local radio, I was on a ladder painting a house, and we had a radio out in the sidewalk, and all the painters came running around and said, "Steve, your band's on the radio," and I ran down off the ladder. We danced in the street. It took us, I don't recall the first time, it took us 7 years from when we started to when we got our first gold record. So, there was a lot in between there, and it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. There was a sense of acceptance, I guess, mostly maybe by, the music community and being part of in the big club.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, it's lasting music. Like,
absolutely.
In My Tribe album is something that I play perfect. I think Like the Weather is one of these songs that I'm not in a band like yours that's played the same hit song for that long, but I think it's one of those timeless kind of happy, but strange. It's a gem. What can I say? I'm a fan. This is great.
So I saw you guys in like 81, I think, went down to Atlanta for a little while.
Well, it was actually Maniacs started in September of 1981, and we were just playing in local clubs around Jamestown.
Sure.
And then I think we got our first club in Buffalo was at the Continental, maybe in '82, and then we had some friends in Atlanta who encouraged us to come down because there was this big music scene going on, in part because of REM was in Athens near there. So we packed up our van and drove down to Atlanta, and we didn't get many gigs. We rented a house in Little Five Points in Atlanta, slept on the floor, and raked leaves and sold our plasma.
I was going to ask about that.
Just to sort of feed ourselves and buy weed. And, then we were there for about 3 months, and then we realized we just had to come back home. And that was sort of the idea where we said, well, we just have to stay on the road and play in different cities every night.
Sure.
No, there's got to be like different plateaus where you're jumping from playing these little clubs to playing these big. What was your first experience in playing, whether, as an opening act for a larger venue? Is there a pivotal, like you were yourself moment?
Well, it took a long time and a lot of work to get to where we got to.
And does that come out of the connections that you made in Atlanta?
Well, there were a few, yeah. We ran into REM down there, and
they're pretty cool, yeah.
It was just working hard and playing every town we could, for as long as we could take it.
What was your touring, pardon my interrupting, but if you had, at that time, you were touring in a van, you were touring in your own vehicles, how are you?
We had a 1979 Dodge Tradesman van that had been turned into a school bus. I guess you'd call it the short bus. Yeah. And it had the had one front seat and the door that opened, the big arm that'd come out and swing the door open. We bought it from a local school and spray painted it with, with John Lombardo and the rest of the gang at one of our rehearsals. And, we're surprised that we survived. And we had a few breakdowns on the side of the road, and fortunately there weren't any severe accidents or anything.
I love what it said on the bus. It wasn't big. It was very small. You remember?
Yeah, we spray painted along the top, "Sing Out with Joy."
I love that.
In part as camouflage when we were driving through the South, because we were a dope smoking group of boys, and we wanted to. It was sort of like, oh, they're a Christian group,
A card-carrying Christian school bus.
This is a Christian podcast too.
It's a Christian podcast.
Yeah.
No, but it's with all bands, it's sort of like putting one foot in front of the other, and occasionally you reach one of your goals, and then for us, when we started selling a few records, we still weren't making any money or anything. But when In My Tribe came out, we had the power of the record company behind us. So that was very fortunate. And they worked pretty hard for us. And we got on K-Rock in LA and the big rock station in New York. We're playing Peace Train. And then because of that, they parlayed that into a late night visit. And our first visit was actually on Johnny Carson's show, which was hosted by Jay Leno on a Friday night. And that got us David Letterman and then MTV sort of came around the same time we did, and we sort of just rode their coattails.
It's funny how everybody, you see it in Snapchat and think the band just came to, this hit status out of nowhere. And, it's great. I like hearing about your story.
There's a lot of different elements that come into play too. There's got to be some sort of talent.
Oh, sure.
And there's got to be some sort of chemistry between the people in the band. And it's a timing. I mean, back then it was such a different scene than now. It's just all these different series of events that really came about to make the band become successful.
How about the Goo Goo Dolls? How long did it take them?
Right.
Oh man,
It took them a long time, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. There's some. Yeah, and so I was in the Continental in '82. That's our something else.
Interesting.
Well, John Besnick was a bar back at the Continental.
Yeah.
Way back when. And so Armin Petrie has worked with our band and the Goo Goo Dolls, producing some of the CDs we've done, and John and Mary stuff.
Sure. I'm actually, I'm working with Armand. I actually deal with some interns at Fredonia, so I deal with Armand. So he's a good guy.
Yes. He's a very good guy. He has he's probably got the clearest mind of everybody.
Oh yeah, by far.
Our history and the Goo Goo Dolls history and everybody else's history, yes.
He remembers everything.
He does.
Because he was sober through it all.
Right.
Even though sometimes there was a cloud of some sort of substance in the air. And,
calm and low.
His eyes are glassy, but he's still... I remember years ago, for Christmas, I made him rum balls. It was a recipe that I really liked.
My mom used to make those.
Yeah. And he loved it. I mean, he really enjoyed those rum balls. That was before he got married, of course, a long time ago.
So rum ball changing stopped. Stopped. All right.
You had mentioned the songwriting process and how you're kind of passing these songs around together, but how John Lombardo was instrumental in your songwriting structure and everything. I go to the pop hits, 10,000 Maniac hits, like I said, like The Weather, and These Are the Days is probably...
There's no the in there. It's These Are Days.
These Are Days.
Yeah,
These Are Days. You remember?
Yeah.
Like I don't remember the name of the song.
Well, but you're right. Also, the young lady is right, because in the phrase, there's this part of the song that goes, "These are the days you might."
What is the title? These are days.
You know, you
So
can
it's
correct me
easy
all
to-
you want, Ryan. You can shoot me down. But I really wanted to
it
know
happens
more
a
about
lot.
Here, I'm just gonna hide in the corner.
But the song title is "These Are Days," but it's easy to understand. Within the song itself,
Yeah.
there's a lyric that says, "These are the days."
Yeah.
This brings me
You're
to
both right. You're both right.
I was just screwing with her.
That's what I was going to say. You're both right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
the sound.
You both win on Jeopardy. You both get a tie.
I like that. Yeah.
Okay,
Double
truce. There.
All right.
No, my question is, of your own songwriting contributions, what is most happy and notable and proud for each of you?
Mary, you start.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, of course, I heard an interview about people trying to pick, like writers and musicians trying to pick their favorite piece, and they say it's like picking your favorite child, which maybe is not that difficult at times.
So hard, but if you could say there's
It's
a
hard.
song that came from me that I, whatever.
I mean, I have a lot of those, and they're not very well known. But I would say, oh gosh, I would say "Rainy Day" was. But there are a lot of
Question.
There are a lot of other ones too, like "Across the Fields" that came from our CD on "Love Among the Ruins," and there are other ones. There's some John and Mary songs that are just they're part of the fabric of my history. So I would think "A Nightfall." The first song John and I wrote was a song called "Piles of Dead Leaves." And
It's a beautiful song.
And so much of these songs that I wrote with the band, and I mean the band itself, there's a sense of where we live, our weather. You said like the weather. I mean, Natalie wrote those lyrics because of the past. I mean, if you
A
look
day
at
like today.
A day like
Yeah, really.
we haven't had any
I'll have
sunshine.
sugar in our bones when it's 27 degrees.
Yeah. So it's kind of interesting. I don't know if somebody somebody that lived in Los Angeles could actually have written that song. Maybe they
Yeah,
could.
good point.
Different weather.
Yeah.
When Mary joined us full time as our lead singer in '94, and John Lombardo came back in the band. The songwriting, and of course our guitar player Rob Buck had died, and Jeff Erickson had joined us at that time. So the songwriting sort of moved around and switched a little bit. Lyrics and music and stuff, and so it was sort of a new beginning for us, but it was also a sort of a learning period to be with new people and write songs with.
At that point in the mid 90s, what was your touring like? What kind of crowds were you playing to then?
Well, in the mid '90s, when after Natalie, we obviously took, we made a record, Love Among the Ruins, and we spent a considerable amount of time making that, so we weren't on the road for a while. And we went back and we were playing in small theaters, and we did some bus tours out west, and obviously it wasn't as big as the venues we were playing in the early 90s before Miss Merchant left the band, when we were at our peak.
We did a lot of outdoor shows, those big festivals. We were in a lot of different places, Steve, summertime festivals. Remember Minneapolis when we played that big festival downtown by their Basilica?
Oh, that was brilliant, by the Basilica. That was great. And Bumper Shoot up in Seattle.
Yep. Yeah, so we were on after Mel Torme, and then Patti Smith was there, and the Ramones played their last concert, which is pretty wild.
That's
A lot of a band's ability to play venues depends on their agent. And of course, where their record sales might be at any given time. So, our philosophy has always been we try to play indoor venues. We always try to play places where we know we could sell them out, even if it's a little smaller, and the guarantee might be less. We prefer a place that's standing room only, because there's no better promotion than telling people at the door you can't get in.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely right. So you mentioned earlier, before we started recording, you opened up for the Grateful Dead, and was that '89 at Rich Stadium?
July 4th, 1989, Rich Stadium. I don't know how the connection happened, but between their people and our people, they were interested in having us play in Buffalo because we were the biggest local band at the time. And often big touring bands, if they don't carry a band with them, they try to get a local group that can help fill seats. And they initially had said they'd heard, I don't know, whatever it was, something from Blind Man Zoo, and said, no. So we sent them some of our earlier stuff, planned obsolescence, and some of our weirder stuff. And they said, oh, okay. And they actually wanted us to play, I think, 3 shows. The Rich Stadium show in '89 on July 4th, and then Meadowlands after that, and then maybe two days of Meadowlands. But we couldn't commit to those because we had prior obligations. But we said yes, please. We'd love to. We'd love to play that show, and they let us. And we met Garcia, and he said our weed was better than their weed.
Go Buffalo!
Oh yeah. Well, no, that was Chautauqua County chokeweed, brother.
Go Western New York. Is that?
Yeah, and so that was it was fun because I was a Deadhead. Jeff was a Deadhead.
I have to say, over all these years, because I've been on tour with Steve and known him for many, many years, both Steve and Dennis and John Lombardo have this amazingly detailed memory for the past of what we've done, and Jeff too. I add you into it, Jeff, because
I don't.
Dennis and John are far better than I am, but
I don't remember that gig. What?
Well, you were in the audience, Jeff. You were high.
Being in the audience, exactly.
Well, and what I can say too, bearing witness to this, is also all the sports details of different
that's
details. I've heard these details that I can remember some things, but this is unbelievable that they would have these conversations about details about different sports figures from different
colleges.
Yeah.
Well, that's John and Dennis. They're huge on that.
Well, it's not baseball.
But I am rocking my Sabres hat tonight, though.
You are? Is that a new one?
No, I wear it around the house to stay warm.
Yeah. And how about Luis?
Yes.
Are you a sports fan?
Soccer.
Are you a musician too?
Yes, I am. I play guitar, bass. I do most of the composition for my band and DIY recording and stuff like that for demos.
That's great. So everybody is a musician.
Yeah.
Of sorts.
What's your band, Louise?
Oh God.
The P3P3.
They're called P3P3.
P3P3.
And what kind of music is it?
We do some weird alternative rock type stuff.
It's prog rock with some math in there.
Yeah, lots of math, lots of subdivisions.
Yeah.
So
my son. Oh, go ahead.
So the way that it started, 2018. Now I have a little lineup, and it just went from alternative to progressive metal. So we have
My son plays in a screamo band called Dishonored. They played in Buffalo a few times. I just left my guitars laying around the house, and he picked up the bass and started playing it and started screaming.
Oh, he studied. Did he study clarinet?
He played clarinet. And he studied red music in high school and college and stuff.
Breath control, right?
But he has my charming looks.
There you go.
Ryan, your lovely lady friend again. What is her name? I missed it because
This is Cassidy.
Oh, I'm a friend, lady. I co-host the podcast every now and again. Mary, I've run into you sometimes at art parties, and I just walk up and I say, "Hello, I'm a fan. Have a great night." I walk away.
Well, I know. You both look really familiar. That's why, and it's such a strange world we're in now because we're all masked, and so when you see,
You don't know anybody.
I know it's
Yeah, well, I was working shows at Milky's from like June into October. We were doing like limited seating, and you see these people, and like they don't know who you are, and you don't know who they are. It was,
Of course.
it was very, very awkward.
Unless you're into anything where you want to duck people in public anyway.
Yeah,
but there's almost a suspicious kind of thing too. It's like, who are you and how close are you going to get to me? You know?
yeah.
You could go rob a bank and no one would care.
Have you all been guests on podcasts before? This is kind of a strange venue.
No, I never have.
I've done a couple.
Yeah, I mean, I've done some interviews, but they were, I guess,
More
I don't know,
formal guest
Professional.
kind of things than us, right?
Actually, I used to do interviews over landlines.
Right, back in the day.
we all did.
Actually, we wrote letters to each other.
I was just happy when I found out I could record over Zoom.
No, it is great.
Prior to that, I was using mimeograph, and that wasn't really getting me much of anywhere.
You probably like to smell it though, right?
Next topic.
No, it's interesting because my friend
That was my gateway drug.
my friend's daughter was talking to me about how she really likes the smell of gasoline. And I remember years ago, like when I was young, you go to the gas station, there was something not offensive about it, but there was something nice about it. But in this era of COVID, if we can smell anything, hallelujah,
Right.
Yeah.
I'll take gasoline. I love to smell gasoline. I do.
Yeah.
Hey, that's why we cook, Mary. That's why we cook.
That's right. That's why we cook.
Yeah, cooking with gas, right?
Lou's raising his hand, jumping up and down. He's got a question.
Lou,
for
what is
you.
your question?
Awesome. So this is for Jeff and Mary. So being people that joined 10,000 Maniacs later in the career or the life span of the band, how was that experience transitioning from, not being in a project to this project that has just been constantly growing for the past couple of decades?
Well, if I can say something first, Jeff, is that I was involved with John Lombardo, who had just left the band. So in the late 80s, he and I formed John and Mary, like very shortly after he left the band. And then like by 1988 or 9, we had a duo. We got a deal with Rykodisc, a CD deal. And then by 1989 or 90, we were asked to open for the band because they had the re-release of the Hope Chest. So I was always under this kind of almost like a protective wing of the Maniacs family. And I think that Jeff would probably segue and say the same thing.
My answer is very similar. Yeah. I mean, I was in my own band, which they all supported. Rob would come sit in with us on Saturday nights at the Keg Room, and if he was in town. And then I was hired as your technician. I feel very much the same way. It felt when we were sitting at a bar one night, and Steve and Dennis were like, "What do you think? You want to give it a try?" And I was like, let's give it a try. I was already in the family, and it wasn't that big of a leap. It was scary for sure. Me going from playing bars to all of a sudden playing at a different level. But
I think part of the reason for the band saying, okay, let's pick them, was they were friends of ours. And we weren't going to go audition, a national audition. We need a guitar player or a singer because we like this, family and people we knew to be around us that we liked and lived near us. We lived in the same town, so it became a very natural progression for us. What do you think, Mary?
Right. Yes, and as I said, when John and I met, we immediately got a record deal or CD deal with Rykodisc, which was kind of a feather in our cap because I had never done anything like that before. But when John and I collaborated, we were able, and we were able to get these two CDs out. And also the fact that, Jeff, you were observed by you were doing the music that you love to do, and you were respected. I think that's a lot of what happened, is that we were. It was a kind of a synergy of everybody getting together and understanding like this is really. Yeah. We're not coming from like left field on this. It's like it's all organic and natural.
Luis, just to add a little bit more to that answer, me being able to guitar tech for Rob for I don't know, 3 years maybe. I started with him right after Love Among the Ruins came out. That also, being a guy that played in bars, that trained me to get used to the bigger stages because I worked on them. So it wasn't a brand new thing to me on that level. I'd at least walked in those places and worked in those places and knew how they breathed and operated. So that it was a pretty natural jump.
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming you had a pretty decent knowledge of the songs as well, kind of going in where you already knew all that stuff.
Yeah, I would when it officially started, I woodshedded like crazy. I just sat and learned the songs over and over again. But I would go over to Dennis's house and play. He'd tell me where I was screwing up. No, you're not getting that quite right. So, yeah, it was a great process.
And you know what? Jeff also Rob was a very good note taker.
Yep.
And on charting songs and stuff. And so we saved Rob's notebook of songs after he died. And
I had it when he died. It was in my possession.
Right.
Wow.
All his handwritten notes for everything, all the secret tunings. And so I was privy to that. Good point, Steve. I mean,
I played in a lot of open tunings and, that he made up. So Jeff knew them.
How weird that you had that instruction manual ready for you.
Yeah.
I know, isn't it? Instruction manual.
One day, Dennis said to me one day, and I'll never forget, he goes, "You're the heir apparent."
Wow. Yeah. Most bands don't come with an instruction manual. They really don't.
And of course, John Lombardo has his own instruction manual for chords and such that is very unorthodox, but it seems to work sometimes.
Yeah. No, it's very unique. John is a very good. What's the word?
He's a visual person.
Documentarian.
Yeah, is that right? He's really good at that, and he's the only one in the band with the ego that. And a master's degree, and the
he has a master's degree.
Well, he has a master's degree in art and education, so he has a visual sense. Like a lot of the covers of our CDs, of course, the John and Mary ones, he did the collages, but for Love Among the Ruins, he did the cover of that, and I don't know if there's any other ones. Maybe
Twice Told Tales.
Twice Told Tales. Yeah. So he has that kind of talent, but he also has a simplicity to his musical understanding, and but still making sense to all of us. And the other thing that I'm bringing in too is that we of course we work with Armin Petrie, who is part of this fabric of Western New York, and we worked at Tarbox Studio with Dave
Fridman.
Yep. So that.
We were using Fridman's space. Fridman didn't actually engineer or produce any of the tracks.
No, but he did wind up our cables at the end of the night.
Nice to have someone to do that.
He's a really nice guy.
He's a nice guy.
Where are we at time? We're at 33 minutes.
Okay. So yeah.
All right.
We should play the game, no?
Yes. We're going to take a quick break and play a song, and then we'll be right back with a quick game of over 10,000 or under 10,000. We're going to see which one of these maniacs can do it best.
Love these games.
First,
do we get a bathroom break?
Yeah, absolutely. All right, everyone.
I have a diaper on. I'm good.
Yeah. Go to the bathroom if you need to, or if not, stay here. Listen to Mall Walker by Stress Dolls from her amazing album that came out last year called Pain of the Season. Here on the Struggle is Real Buffalo Music Podcast on WesternNewYorkMusic.com.
Riding escalators Catching my reflection, I'm reminded who I am. Ripped jeans and baby tees, but you're not like the other kids. With your belly button pressed tight against your ribs, stuck in the air and pray to disappear. Look away and tell yourself it's just the near. And I can't help but think that who's in front of me is exactly who I was when I was 13. And I can't help but think that what's inside of me is everything I want, but nothing I need. It's nothing I need.
All right, and we are back here on the Struggle is Real Buffalo Music Podcast. That was Mall Walker by Stress Dolls. So for every episode we do, we try to base a game around the bands we have on. So this is a game called Over 10,000 or Under 10,000. So I'm going to name you something, and you have to tell me if it's over 10,000 or under 10,000.
Now we're playing against each other, right?
Oh,
This
yes,
is
you
against
are.
the three of us. All right. What if we tie?
Who goes first?
Oh,
There it is.
you're all going to answer the questions, every question together, and then
Okay.
whoever gets the most wins.
Yeah, right.
And if we have a tie, there's more than one prize.
Ryan
I
always
think.
has the most luxurious prizes.
Luxurious prizes.
Very luxurious.
Ladies first.
Somebody's
I
fancy.
do have a great one. All right. Question number one. The number of Bills fans allowed in the stadium for, this is going to be released on the 15th. So I'm going to say last Saturday's wild card game, but you know what I mean. Is it over 10,000 or under 10,000?
Under.
All right.
Under 1,000.
We got 3 unders. That is
Wait, let me think about it. Under.
Yes, that is correct. It is 6,772. All right, number 2. The number of runners in the 2019 Turkey Trot, is that over 10,000 or under 10,000?
Ooh, Mary know that.
Under.
Over.
Under.
And that is over.
Oh, Jeff
Jeff got that.
scores.
Exactly. Thank you, Cassidy. Yes, the exact number is 14,000.
Ooh, wow. Go.
Wow.
Wow.
That's what happened when people went outside.
We used to go outside.
Yeah, I remember. I remember
It was
the fun.
Weird one because it wasn't like everybody running together. It was like kind of.
Right. Were they running virtually? Are you counting that?
Well,
Staggered starts,
No.
right?
Well, I was staggering a little while ago, but
all right. Number 3. I like this one. The weight in grams of a piece of sponge candy that Niagara Chocolates submitted to the Guinness Book of World Records in December 2019. That is the weight in grams.
of one piece.
Over.
All right.
Mary,
I got to go with Jeff, I guess.
a weight in grams of one piece of
Yep.
chocolate.
One piece of chocolate. It was submitted to the Guinness Book of World Records for being
10,000 grams. I got to go over.
Yeah, me too.
Jeff?
Over.
Yeah.
That is incorrect. It is under. It is 7,336 grams, or it is a 131 piece pound of sponge candy.
Whoa.
That'll last me at least a week.
Wow.
God.
All right. Number 4. The price in dollars of 500 pounds of chicken wings from Wegmans. Is it over $10,000 or under $10,000?
500 pounds?
500 pounds of chicken wings from Wegmans.
Under.
Steven?
Under.
Under.
It is over.
I like these questions, Ryan.
Thank you.
Good job.
Yeah, it is $10,160.
I don't like this game. I'm leaving.
Yeah, but wait. Chicken changes every week. The price
That's
is
right.
gold. Like gold.
We talking this week?
I researched it about 3 or 4 days ago.
All right. Okay.
Anyway.
I was trying to do the math in my head, but I was smoking your pot, Ryan. So
That's a good thing and a bad thing. Yeah. All right. The price in dollars of 45,000 orders of a hot dog and a drink from Ted's Hot Dogs when they opened in 1927.
Oh my God.
wait, say that again.
Specific.
Yeah, thank you. 45,000 orders of a hot dog and a drink from when Ted's Hot Dogs opened in 1927.
I think you were salivating there.
Under.
Yeah,
1947.
1927.
27. Oh God, it had to be a quarter. I'd say under.
Under.
3 unders?
Yeah.
All right. And that is correct. That is $9,900. It was 22 cents for a hot dog and a drink.
You have to understand that Jeff, whenever we go on tour, Jeff goes and goes for a casino, et cetera, et cetera. He always wins money. He's always,
I know. He's a money winner.
I went with Jeff on the first one, that first question.
I've done it a couple times, actually.
You have more than once.
Oh, Jeff wins all. Jeff wins all the time.
Jeff, more than this, you know.
We have award winners on this podcast.
Award winners. He bought all the hot dogs.
Yes. All right. The amount of money in dollars that Jeff Bezos makes every 4 seconds, is that under or over $10,000?
Over.
Yeah. Over.
3 overs.
That is under. He makes $9,956 every 4 seconds.
What a loser.
I can't believe that.
That guy couldn't make money at a flea market.
Yeah.
Even make $10,000.
Jeez.
That was a trick question.
Wow.
Well, they're all kind of trick questions. I think that's kind of the point.
That's right.
So
Oh, right. I'm sorry.
what's the score at now? I think Jeff's in the lead with 3.
Jeff's in the lead with 3.
All right. And we have Stephen and Mary both have 2. We got 4 left. Number 7. The height in inches of 26,000 copies of your 2016 live album Playing Favorites on CD stacked on top of each other.
Wait. Say that again.
It's 26,000 CD copies of your live album Playing Favorites stacked on top of each other.
26,000.
So as the height in inches, over or under 10,000?
Yes.
I don't like your questions, Ryan.
Yes.
I love your questions.
Well, I don't have my phone out doing.
I'm going to say
Yes. I say yes.
over.
Can you repeat the question, please?
Okay, so it's the height in inches of 26,000 copies of your live album Playing Favorites stacked on top of each other.
Flat. Right? We're
Yes,
saying
flat,
flat,
yes.
right?
Oh,
Yeah.
not like this. I mean, it's really.
Yeah. Good point, Mary.
I'm going to say over.
What else do we have?
What are you saying, Steve?
What did I say? Can we roll back the tape? I
You said over.
Oh, is that over?
think I said
Mary?
over.
Mary? You over or under?
She's thinking.
Okay.
Dun, 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 dun,
I'll say
dun,
over.
Dun, dun.
Hey, that's copyrighted. That's why we can't play any of your music. All right.
To Alex Trebek.
And yes, may he rest in peace. The answer is over.
Yay!
It is 10,140 inches.
Nice.
Oh, good.
We rock.
All right, we got 3 left. The recent discovery of a dozen Eurasian canines suggests that dogs have been domesticated for at least how many years? Is it more or less than 10,000?
4.
More.
I'll say more.
It is more. It is 11,000 years.
My dog just barked that to me.
Yes.
He heard that. He said,
He's a
dude.
documentarian.
Oh, yeah. Documentarian.
All right. I love this question so much. According to an Urban Dictionary post from 2008, so the website Urban Dictionary, this is the age of John McCain. Is it over or under 10,000 years old?
What does that mean?
I know. What? Wait, yeah, right.
There's a website called Urban Dictionary, and people just make up their own shit on there. And if you go on there,
Over.
all
right, then over. I say over.
Okay.
I'm with over.
Wait, what's the question again? What do you mean by?
There's a website called Urban Dictionary where idiots post nonsense. And in 2008, a guy named Desk Flyer said this was the age of John McCain. Over or under 10,000?
10,000 what?
Oh, years old.
age.
Years old. John McCain in Urban Dictionary.
Under.
It is under.
Oh, Mary, way to go.
Of John McCain. It is 9,000.
Good one.
Everybody, 9,000.
Oh, it's only 9,000 years.
Ryan.
He's married to tie with Jeff. And Steve is just close behind with 4 points rather than 5.
All right, guys. All right, the last question. How much in dollars is it over or under 10,000 would it be to buy 10,000 copies of the cassette single of These Are Days, which I owned in 4th grade at its current price on Discogs? Over $10,000 or under 10,000?
How many copies?
10,000 of the cassette single.
Over.
You got an over from Jeff?
Cassette copy.
Yep.
So 10,000 copies, $10,000.
Of the cassette
is it-
copy of These Are Days.
The cassette single for These Are Days. Yeah, the cassette copy.
Under.
Mary?
I'm going to say under 2.
It is over.
Oh, we
You
win.
underestimate your own value. Do we have a winner?
Jeff.
Jeff, you win.
Jeff, you score.
With 6.
Of course he's the winner. Jeff is always the winner.
Oh, I have a great product for you.
Come and jump up. Come
Here
here.
is a part of your winning.
Ivan, come here.
Thing's mirrored. I have to unmirror it so they can see
Ivan, come
the
here.
prize the way it should be seen here. My brother got some really cool. My brother got my wife some really cool stuff for Christmas, but it also came with something we didn't want, and that's what you win, Jeff. It is a small dinner plate with a quote from the song "W.A.P." Who sings that?
Cardi B.
Yeah. Is that Cardi B? Cardi B. So I will send you this disc, this nice little plate with.
I can't see it. Show it up to the camera. I can't
Oh,
see
sorry.
it.
Yeah.
Gobble me swallow. That'll go great in his garage mahal.
So you
He
win.
wants it.
Yes, Jeff. Huh?
You have to understand. My man cave garage weird shack. I shouldn't call it man cave, person cave. Is full of weird artifacts. I will drive to Buffalo to get that.
Oh, hell yeah.
I'm not even kidding.
We opened this up in front of my parents and my 13-year-old
fantastic.
nephew and my 14-year-old niece, and we just kind of looked at it and was like, "What?" So, Jeff, congratulations. Do we want to talk for a couple more minutes?
You know, it couldn't go to a better maniac.
Yes.
No, I'm not even kidding, Ryan. I seriously want that. If you're gonna
absolutely.
Yeah, no, he's seriously going to.
Yeah.
Well,
get it because I love weird artifacts.
and your wife Jen would get a chuckle out of it, a cluckle.
Oh yeah, maybe if
See?
she could.
See what happens? The dish comes to me. I don't want it. The dish finds its owner.
I know. That's why I don't like to throw things away. It's like there's a karmic thing where it'll always find its right place, right? Whatever.
I adore
One woman and or man and or whomever's trash is the other's treasure.
Absolutely. There's a lot of buy nothing groups in Buffalo that are coming up where it's just people creating that kind of stuff that they don't want.
I'm trying to do it gender free, one, its treasure is another.
One man's toxic
One person-
sledge is another wood's potpourri. I don't know. Some kind of sledge.
Versus.
All right.
Well, I'm so glad that everyone was able to join us, and I want to give proper to everyone's Friday night and time frames
Sure.
and whatever. But
Yeah.
before you go.
It's worth asking about any new musical projects that this review individually or.
Well,
Yes.
Mary can answer some of that, but you can find us on Facebook, maniacs.com, and Twitter, and we have a maniacs.com webpage, and Mary can tell you where we're at.
Do you have a friend?
Well, we are going to make a new CD, and Armin Petrie will be involved with it, of course. And it's in the it's not the germinating stage. It's not
In the
where
COVID, it's in the COVID stages.
well, it's not where the ovum meets the sperm. It's a little bit beyond that. But
Oh,
All right.
It's developing. It's in utero.
First trimester.
thank you, darling. That
Jeff,
is
I can't
where.
hear you.
When COVID hit, I got incredibly creative. You were asking about this earlier, and I couldn't stop. And then we sort of got together early on, and we've got a lot of good ideas that are really growing in the garden. And I can't wait to share them because there's quite a few. It's really quite stunning how many new ideas are there. I'm excited
I look forward to hearing from it.
Absolutely.
What kind of platforms are you using to share music as it's
Plates.
hear it till it's done.
that's the truth?
Well, we're using rotary phones.
Oh, I'll fire up my mimeograph.
That's amazing.
Whatever we can get.
Paper again, right?
Yeah, right. It's going to be in print.
Messenger pigeon.
Analog, we're going back.
When I was a kid, I used to get boxes of cereal with vinyl singles,
I've seen those before.
plastic vinyl singles pasted to the side of them. Right, Jeff? Remember those?
I do remember them.
You would get singles, and I can't remember if it was a Beatles one or whatever. I don't think they would ever stoop that low, but
In magazines sometimes too, like a little floppy record you could put on your turntable.
oh, and all the magazines, yeah, and Music Magazine and Musician and Cream Magazine did those.
See, if only there were tangible print or any type of the cereal box thing might work because the vinyl's getting hip again, and vinyl sales are up. So
Can I have a question about all these young people's bands in Buffalo? What are they doing? And people used to go to Pink Flamingo and Nietzsche's and, all the way people socially used to, a year ago at this time, it was thriving and vibrant. And how are people coping with it? Like of that demographic?
It's a lot of production from people. Like we saw a really healthy amount of new music coming out, like not as much as you would in a regular year, but it seems like a lot of people have taken to home studios and doing the work themselves. And other people have kind of just, gone into a little hibernation of songwriting. And coming out with new stuff. I know a lot of people who are in bands who are putting out like little solo albums and stuff too.
We're fortunate that we have the, technology to literally have a laptop, an external hard drive, and a couple decent mics.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
If you have an instrument and some talent, you're off to the races.
I learned on 2-inch reel, so having this stuff is great.
Learned on little 4-track machine with a cassette, bouncing track. But yeah, you're really off to the races, and I'm incredibly grateful for that. I think I would have went insane at the beginning of lockdown last year without that.
Yeah.
I think that one thing the pandemic might or would certainly give us is that at the end of it, it's going to be a flood of artistic ideas.
Oh yeah.
When not all bands have the opportunity to be together or get together. Like our band, some of us live 70 miles apart, and it's been a challenge because of lockdowns and things like that and concerns. Although we've been struggling through it and doing the best we can. But I suspect that there's going to be a lot of art, painting, and music.
Theater and dance.
And dance. It's going to come out of this isolation and for artists to, think about themselves and then think about the other world, the outer world, and find a way to sort of, make their art and relate it to everyone else.
Sure. Yeah. A lot of what I've been telling bands is that, even if you can't practice, even if you can't record, you can still make people excited about your music. So when it reopens, they're not just might see you, playing a show. They're going to be really excited. They're going to want to know where you're playing. So
We hope fingers washed and crossed.
Yeah. Are we out of time? We're out of time. Yeah, we went way over time. That's fine. Guys, thank you so much. It was such a pleasure having you on.
Thanks, everyone.
Hey, Ryan, I'm not kidding.
What?
I'm not kidding. Can I email you about that plate?
Yes, no, absolutely.
You're getting the plate.
I don't want this plate in my house.
He really doesn't want that plate.
Well, you could just frisbee it to him. It'll just, Oh, no, you know what? Josh Allen could probably throw it to him.
I was going to say, Lou's got some thick arms. He might be able to do it. I'm wimpy.
I literally do collect weird things. Like, you would be amazed if you could look around this room right now.
And I have to reiterate that Jeff is like the lucky. He kind of talk about taking over Rob's position. Rob always was the one that won things, and then you have won a lot of cash and other things, prizes, etc. When we've traveled, you always win at the casinos. Are we done?
And now you have a gobble me, swallow me plate.
And it wasn't nearly the weirdest prize Ryan's given out. So you won a decent prize.
The only place you can win is here on The Struggle Is Real.
I just want to be at your house when your wife opens it up.
Yeah, I'm not going to tell her. I'm just going to put it in the dishes, and then some night
slip it in the cupboard.
Oh man. Okay, guys, thank you so much.
Thanks, everyone.
We're going to take a break. We're going to play a song called Bird and Caterpillar by a crazy Prague classic rock band I found called Fungus, Amongus.
Fungus, Amongus.
Love them.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone's
they're great.
So thanks again, 10,000 Maniacs, and we'll be right back here on the Struggle Is Real Buffalo Music Podcast on westernnewyorkmusic.com.
Go Bills.
The house was a cabin in Paradise Woods, and they traveled all the places they could. They trekked through open lands, and through the forest they'd explore, till one day Caterpillar dropped Bird on the floor. A few hours later came a group of giants who found Bird floating in a world of science. They brought him back to their home world, as on their ship the sails unfurled. Oh, little bird, oh, little bird, oh, little bird, look what they've done. Oh, little bird, oh, little bird, oh, little bird, fly towards the sun. Somewhere along the way came a baby giant who wanted to play. He took the bird and he gave him a shake. He did not intend for the bird to break. Off first came his wing and then came his head. It seemed that the young bird was surely dead. A scream rang out from the halls of hell, and Caterpillar knew that bird was not well. Baby giant knew what he had done. If the other giants found out, he knew he'd be shunned. But all the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put a bird back together again. Oh, little bird, oh, little bird, oh, little bird, look what they've done. Oh, little bird, oh, little bird, oh, little bird, fly towards the sun. Hand in hand they'd do every endeavor. This wasn't Caterpillar's intent, but for the rest of his days he paid the whole rent.
And that was Bird and Caterpillar by Fungus Amongus.
So wait, did the bird eat the caterpillar? Or
Lou, go back and listen again, man. And if you can't figure it out the second time, try eating some mushrooms.
Okay.
All right.
I think it'll help expand my mind. Oh, squeegee the third eye, you know?
Exactly. And that is it for episode number 70. We'd again like to thank 10,000 Maniacs for coming and hanging out. On episode 71, which is going to be coming out around February 1st, we're going to be interviewing local drummer Damone Jackson of the Damone Jackson Outcome. Damone has made news recently for like going out and playing in the park, and he's always got a bunch of things going on. So I'm really excited to talk to him and see what else he's been doing and how he's dealing with all this quarantine. I'm going to be yelling about 107.7 Alternative Buffalo. Oh, I'm going to yell good.
Oh, I have a lot of things to say myself.
Yeah, as well. I've got a lot of problems with you people, and you're going to hear about them.
Hey, all you people.
And we'll have plenty of new music for your ear holes. Things are tight right now. Stay strong, stay together, and keep on struggling. Thanks for listening.